This girl right here, her name is Mady Yates, and she actually committed suicide at the age of 16. She made a video on YouTube beforehand where she kind of talked about her struggles and everything like that. And she kind of told the world that she was doing everybody a favor, and it really surprised a lot of people because she was actually anti-suicide, where she talked to people who were suffering with depression, and she told them that there was other ways to cope with it besides depression and besides suicide. And her mother came out after she committed suicide, and she said that right before she made the video, like moments before, like minutes before, she had actually been with the family and they were all happy and having a good time. She was cracking jokes, and it really surprised everyone because of that. So, and little did they know that it would be the last time that they saw her. Was that. So, and she was suffering from depression, from major depressive disorder. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about major depressive disorder. And first, I will describe exactly what it is and the symptoms that are associated with it. Second, I will talk about what causes it and what treatments are available from a doctor's standpoint, from a psychiatrist's standpoint. And finally, I will talk about what you could personally do, as students and as friends and as family to help someone who's suffering from this disorder. So what is major depressive disorder? Major depressive disorder is a mental illness and a mood disorder. And it's pretty much what most of us think about when we talk about depression. It's what you feel, like after a breakup or after someone dies, like the way you feel after that. But in the case of major depressive disorder, it's also known as clinical depression. It's feeling that way every single day for an extended period of time. Normally, most of us, we usually feel that way maybe for like a week maximum, or like a month even maximum. But people who have this disorder, they feel that way for a long time. And according to the National Institute of Mental Health website, last updated May 4, 2013, 6.7% of U.S. adults actually have this disorder, and 80% of them actually don't really know that they have it. And that's actually really common when you think about it, 7% of people. And 3.4% of those people actually commit suicide, which is pretty much the worst case scenario when it comes to this. So these are the symptoms from major depressive disorder. I'm pretty sure you guys mostly know about most of these. It's mostly, sadness, irritability, loss of interest, fatigue, insomnia, overeating, and stuff like that. But the most important one is probably suicidal thoughts and attempts, because it's something that people think that, some people will talk about suicide, they think that it's just to get attention, or they just want attention, but actually people who actually talk about this, who say it publicly to their friends, most of the time they're actually considering it. It's a serious thought that they have in their head, so you should really take it seriously. And even though it is common, it's also serious because of the deadly consequences that come from it, and it affects the way you live life in general, because people who have this disorder, they go to work and they can't, function properly in social situations, whatever the situation may be. They can't, perform the way they're supposed to. This is a PET scan. This pretty much shows brain activity in each one of them. This is what you don't want. This is what you don't want. This is what you want. You want this nice yellow color right here, because it means that you have brain activity, which means that you're not depressed. And this one has lack of brain activity, so you don't want this. You want this. Now, what causes depression? There's actually no known cause for it. There's a lot of things that go into it. It is known that it's triggered by stressful life events, as deaths in the family or breakups or stuff like that. It could be anything. But it also has to do with your genes. So it's kind of like a combination of both. There's also no medical test to diagnose it, even though you saw the PT scan right there, that the way you could diagnose it that way. But that just shows the way that the brains are in contrast. You can only diagnose it by what the person says. So, if they're really shy and they don't want to talk about it, then there's really no way to find out unless they actually talk about it, since there is no test for it. And these are the available treatments. Antidepressants, that's mostly for the physical effects of it. That's, I'm pretty sure you guys know that those are pills. Those are the ones you take. And cognitive behavioral therapy and interpersonal therapy are, talking to them. They're mostly associated with the psychological parts of depression. So what can you do to help someone with depression? You can ask them if they're depressed, because people think that sometimes if you're too quiet, they think that you're probably depressed, but most of the time they might just be shy. So that's the only way you can really find out if they're depressed, is if you actually ask them. Find the source of their depression and address it. You got to find out exactly why they are depressed so you can know what to do to help them. And offer your support. And be genuine. That's probably the most important one, is be genuine, because you don't want someone to be fake. You don't want them to be, fake that they actually care about you. You want them to be... I mean, people aren't stupid. People can tell when you're being fake. They want you. Yeah. Remember that it's a long process. You're not going to stop being depressed right away. It's going to take a long time. Because it's not just psychological. It's not just thoughts. It's all physiological. There's some physiological components to it from your head. The way you think about things. Remember that person's friends and family, which are you guys, are probably the biggest influence in that person's life. When you think about it, you don't really take advice from doctors. You take advice from your friends and family, because they know you for longer and they're not getting paid to help you. When you think about doctors, essentially they're getting paid to help you. So you're not really going to take them the same as if it's someone who's genuinely trying to help you, which is your friends and family. Regardless, don't try to put on your Superman cape and try to help these people by yourself, because there are people who are trained for this, like doctors and psychiatrists who could actually talk to them. It's got to be a combined effort from both of you guys, so you can help someone like that. And first I talked about what major depressive disorder is. Second, I talked about the treatments from doctors. And last, how you could help someone who has this disorder.